Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today is another Warlock Wednesday, and we're talking about the Eldritch Invocation Beguiling Influence.
This is
All
two
right.
skill proficiencies in a trench coat. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Beguiling Influence is one line of text, 9 words. You gain proficiency in the deception and persuasion skills, period. That's it. That's all this invocation does. Your initial thoughts, Bob?
Initial thoughts are that's not much, but then I think maybe I'm asking too much of my Eldritch invocations. Um, it feels like for the right player, this could be good. If that's for a really role play heavy kind of game, then I don't know. Maybe probably not my kind of game or character, but yeah, for some tables, I think this would work well. What do you think?
I think Beguiling Influence is almost unusable at all tables.
Okay, I was just trying to give it the benefit of the doubt here.
I know.
You are
Listen,
not.
I definitely think this is a invocation that reads like there's probably some reason to take this. This is 2 extra skills. 2 extra skills seems good. Here is the crux of the issue with Beguiling Influence. There's a couple major problems. The first major problem is that whenever you build your warlocks, you start at first level typically. And whenever you are typically starting at first level, you aren't necessarily considering what your invocations are going to be doing for your skill repertoire. So you take your background skills, you take your warlock skills, you move forward. Because the way characters tend to be built, that you tend to aim towards getting skills in your wheelhouse that work with your ability scores. So a warlock that is based in charisma, which is the vast majority of them, probably is already taking one of the charisma skills along with it. So either deception, persuasion, whatever their preferred mode is. Maybe it's intimidation. Maybe you want to be the, Hellboy, horns and giant angry fists and scare the shit out of people kind of deal, right? That is the initial build, is you probably took whatever charisma skill you wanted. Then we get into like the actual use cases of charisma skills. And what tends to happen is players will create circumstances to let them use the given skill proficiency that they're already proficient in. And the 3 that are really interchangeable are deception, persuasion, and intimidation. Those 3 tend to be, I'm interacting with an NPC in a way dictated by this specific skill set. This then gives me a way to sort of change what I say to choose which of these skills I'm using. Getting both deception and persuasion doesn't necessarily open up your options all that much. A lot of times you were going to be picking and choosing whichever one you wanted and attacking a situation in a way that utilizes one of the 2. Now, obviously, there are going to be times where they get you different results. Sometimes deception is not going to give you the same thing persuasion is. Sometimes intimidation is going to lead to more conflict than persuasion would. However, a lot of characters, you're going to aim them at doing their socialization. You're going to aim them at doing their negotiation in a specific avenue. You don't need more avenues than that one. Most of the time, that pillar of play, you having a charisma skill is going to be good enough. Even performance, I run a lot of checks that are like not strictly speaking lying or circumnavigating the truth, but like showing up trying to impress as performance checks. So I tend to be a lot more liberal with its usage as well. It enters into my tables a lot like the other charisma skills do. I know at other tables is less likely to do that, and most of the time that gets wrapped in deception or does other things out of that nature. I think there's a clear distinction that you can make between deception and performance to make it that sort of happen. But for the vast majority of people, you need 1 charisma skill. You probably took it at first level, and you then rolling with that. Getting 2 more don't really change your outcome. And getting the 2 more, if you already have one or the other, they're lost. You don't get to take new proficiencies instead. You just don't get anything. So if you already have persuasion, you take this, you only get deception. And on top of that, you're going to be in a circumstance where you don't need both. Ever, really.
All right, 2 things.
I
I don't think all these charisma skills are interchangeable. I could see persuasion and intimidation kind of a similar thing, different means for this what you want, getting somebody to do what you want.
Sure.
But deception seems like, I mean, could be similarly used, but also different uses. You just giving false information or whatever and selling it. But that's one thing. I don't think they're as interchangeable as you're saying, but or you're what was the other thing?
I don't know.
Oh, no, all right, yeah. Now you're talking about, the character creation, and what if you take all this into account when you're creating your character, and you purposely leave off these so that you can pick up this invocation later.
I'm very
It,
curious as to why that is what you're building towards instead of any of the magical effects this gives. I'm wondering why you're doing that instead of multiclassing Bard or multiclassing Rogue or just playing a Rogue
yeah,
or a Bard, which both will get those skill proficiencies bonus anyway. I'm interested into what Beguiling Influence is opening up to you. Do you just want is the objective of the build just to have every skill in the game? I've seen builds like that, they're pretty fun and wonky. You can do that without Beguiling Influence, fun fact. Like you can I don't know what that character wants to be doing that they can't already pretty cleanly and easily do. I don't know what Beguiling Influence is adding to the table that is empowering a character in a way that it couldn't get elsewhere and for cheaper. And I think if that is where we're starting, it cannot be on one of your invocations, because your invocations are critical to how your Warlock plays. The invocation is the bulk of Warlock power. It has to change how you play. It has to change how you interface with the world. It has to be things you're regularly using. 2 additional charisma skills don't really offer that. If this was 2 skills of your choice, I'd be a little bit more interested. I'd be a little bit more like, okay, this is where you pick up your stealth down the road. This is where you pick up your, or even like the investigation skills. You probably don't need more of one of Arcana or whatever. You can get most of the skills you need there already. And on top of that, you also have party members. You have other people in your group that can do things. There's only a certain amount of skills you really need before everything in the group is covering most things. If you have 4 people playing at the table, all of them bringing 4 skills to the table, you don't really need anyone to bring more than that amount of skills to cover basically all of the skill checks you would need to be making in the first place.
what if everybody, all the other characters,
took this exact same 4 skills?
charisma is my dump stat.
Sure. Then, listen, if all 4 other characters did that, I'm not sold that you would want to spend one of your invocations getting access to these when you can just take one of your skills and do it instead.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I'll be upfront. I'm never taking this.
Exactly.
But,
I don't think anyone starts to make a build to do that either. I don't think anyone's like, is anyone going to look at this and be like, I really want to have 5 or 6, 7 skills, whatever it is, instead of the Warlock's 5? No, you don't need that. You're happy with the amount of skills you get as a Warlock. And if you, for some reason, want to be the charismatic Warlock, talk out your ass guy, you can just take both these. You don't have to wait for an invocation to do it. And that's a way cheaper option than spending one of your precious few invocations on it.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I was going into this argument like not even half-heartedly.
No, I think so. To your point, that deception gets you a different outcome. All 3, deception and intimidation and persuasion, do sometimes have specific applications where, like, this is a situation that only performance is going to get you what you want, or only persuasion is going to get you what you want. This is a situation where only intimidation is going to get you what you want. This is the kind of NPC that isn't going to be able to be reasoned with in one of the other ways. I think a lot of fresh encounters, I think if like the party is planning to go do something, they want to go retrieve information from a librarian, right? They're approaching the shopkeeper and trying to negotiate about the location of something they're looking for. That's when you kind of get to pick and choose. That's whenever you get to kind of figure out, you create a plan, you create a meaning of actions, a meaning of words to get what you're looking for. So oftentimes, like in the instance where you're looking for, let's say you're trying to find a location from a shopkeeper, like that this person knows where this special rare relic is, and you are trying to get this rare relic's location out of them. You could approach this as I use deception to lie about our interests, to lie about, we're something greater than we are, and you want to be a part of this, and you just need to give us this information to be a part of this. That's a direction to go. You could also go in honest and earnest. You could also go in and say, we really think it is in the best interest of you, and these are the real reasons that we're putting out here, and these are the real things that we're doing. We're helping the world. Persuasion can get you there as well. Intimidation could as well. Give us information, we'll kick the shit out of you, tend to be a particularly compelling argument. All 3 of these routes are 3 very clearly distinct different skills, but all of them are the charisma skills. All of them can lend themselves to this one encounter. And I think I don't want to say the majority, but it is a large portion of the encounters that are charisma based in 5e tend to be, we know this NPC has what we're looking for. Let's navigate through this socially in whatever way we choose. And let's be honest, characters are going to have preferred routes of doing it, right? The super angry Hellboy guy doesn't want to bust out persuasion. He wants to use intimidation. That's what he put on his character sheet for. You don't need to have all three and be flexibly jumping all between them. You don't normally want to be either. You normally want to be staying in your wheelhouse, doing the thing that you want your character to be good at, playing and living in the thematic roleplay moment of that archetype. Beguiling Influence doesn't serve anyone because it doesn't open up that in a tremendously meaningful way. It doesn't give you a lot of new ways to interface with the world or interface with roleplay. It just gives you 2 extra skills that you don't really need. And I think that's ultimately why Beguiling Influence, despite being 2 extra skills, doesn't seem that bad, is pretty unusable.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was trying to argue before, but now if these are skills that you want, you're gonna already have them.
Yes, 100%. And you're not waiting to 2nd level, especially, and you're not giving up an invocation for them.
No. Anything else to say about this?
I think this is a trap that no one has fallen for. I've never seen someone take Beguiling Influence, and I don't expect to ever.
No. I was gonna ask that. Has anybody ever taken this?
The vast majority of tables, I would say like 90% of the tables I've run have had warlocks at them. I've never once seen it on a player character sheet. I have never once put this on my own sheets. So that should get that. There you go. Out of 10 years or whatever playing this game, not once have I seen someone take this, and I know exactly why.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll agree. 1 out of 5. This is unusable. This is it's worse than that. This is like forfeiting an invocation.
Yeah, forfeiting invocation for almost nothing.
All right. Well, that was Beguiling Influence. We were not persuaded.
No.
All right. But hey, I am very interested if any of you have ever taken this or know anyone who has, and or want to argue its favor
or even argue
wrong.
any of my points.
Yeah. Let us know
talk
in the
a big
comments.
game. Tell me I'm wrong.
All right. Well, thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for watching. We will see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.